Good morning, everybody here. Welcome to Trading Within the Box here on February 8, 2025 here at 11:30 a.m. We're going to go over the week, what just happened here this week in the stock market review. And first of all, this is not a recommendation to buy, hold, sell any stocks, forex, futures, equities, or any options. This is not financial advice. This is an educational video only. If you'd like to purchase stocks, please contact a licensed professional or the brokerage house of your choice, and they will help you there. So let's get to it right now. The S&P 500, let's go to a daily chart. And what do we say? So now, this is not a surprise. Okay, so now what's happening is we have a little bit of a channel here, okay? So we're wondering if we're going to get lower lows here now as we start heading down here. Well, at the S&P 500, now we had a higher low, a lower low, and a lower low here. Now we have lower highs, lower lows here. Now, I'm wondering if we're going to, when we pull back, if we're going to pull back here, or if we're going to pull back lower. So that'll be 1, 2, that'll be 3 drops, okay? Or we're going to be, then we're going to get another run, and then head back to this 581.19. Is that where we're headed? So is that what we're in a little bit of a pullback here right now? Let's just see what the weekly chart is saying. Now, on the weekly, we still have a green candlestick with good volume. Now, when you see the stochastics go like this, okay, let me just show you something, okay? When they go sideways, see how it comes out and then it has like this little, like, it looks like an arrow heading that way, and it's wide apart from that other part of the stochastic, low part of the stochastic. Now, we have this again here, okay? It came up. We have really good volume right now in the stock and the S&P 500, and we're getting this again. So when they're like that, okay, we could be getting this kind of thing again, okay? Now, let's see if we're going to get a W here when we pull back and then start heading back up. Okay, that's going to remain to be seen. We got the line chart right now, and the line chart right now is just pulling back here with good volume. So let's see what they're going to do with the S&P 500. Now, with the 3 Qs, okay, let's go over the 3 Qs. The NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ, what is happening here with the NASDAQ? If you look at it, you'll see right here we have this little consolidation here, okay? There's a consolidation on a weekly chart, okay? It's still holding above the 20-day moving average on the weekly chart, so we're still being supported with good volume here, okay? Market's still being supported, okay? We're not like breaking down for a big correction or anything. We're going sideways. Now, you can even see it on the daily chart. Look at the daily chart and then look at the sideways consolidation, what we have going on here. This is Trading Within the Box, right? Now, this is a sideways, we just keep coming back. Kind of Microsoft is kind of doing a very similar thing, except Microsoft is coming back a little deeper, okay? So that's what's actually happening in the Qs, which is the NASDAQ, and we're going to continue to keep watching that. Now, let's go over to IWM, which is the speculators, which are the small cap stocks, and a lot of times they'll sell off first before market pulls back, and right now we're pulling back here, okay? We have increasing selling volume on the daily chart. Now let's go over to the weekly chart, and we have this little breakdown here. So let's see what they're going to do. We want to see this. We want to kind of see this kind of thing stop here at the 20-day and then start heading back up again. Okay, that's what we want to see for a healthy market, okay? That's what we want to see. Now, as you go into the bank stocks, which is the XLF, let's look at the weekly chart first on the XLF. Look how strong the volume is on the banks, okay? But where are the banks? Heading into a major resistance area, okay? So there's going to be a pullback coming here on the bank stocks, okay? The bank basket, Goldman Sachs, you got JP Morgan, you got the big guys in the banking industry that's the bank basket, okay? So on a daily chart, you do have a little more room if it's going to go up a little bit more. Now, when we go over to the 2-hour chart, what do we see? We see a pullback here to the moving average. We'll pull all the way down to the bottom with a higher low so far, but we have more interest in selling right now than buying on the 2-hour chart on the banks, okay? So that's what's going on. Let's look at the semiconductors, or the semiconductors, SMH. And on SMH, what do we have? We go right into resistance here, and then they sell. And that's not a surprise because look at this. You come off support, that's your resistance. The buy area is here, the sell area is here, okay? So you're going to get the engulfing and you're going to pull back, okay? And you'll just follow it on the 2-hour chart on the semiconductors and look at the 2-hour chart as we pull back, okay? Now we're below the moving average, so we want to see if we're going to get a little pullback here on this, and sure enough, probably, okay? So it's not going to be a surprise we're going to have some of these down days here coming, okay? It's not going to be a surprise. Now let's go over to sorry about that. Let's go over to our stocks here, and the first one up, of course, is the All World Microsoft. My computer's screwed up here. MSFT. Okay, and what do we got going on with Microsoft? Okay, the All World Microsoft. Now, All World Microsoft, let's go over to the weekly first because we're going to determine what's happening here with the weekly chart. Now, we dropped below, which is not good. Okay, this is not good. We have a lot of volume coming here. Okay, but we got some dividends coming on February 18th here. Okay. Now, we are at a major support area. They'll drop it sometimes below. Now, they did it here, okay, the week of August 5th, okay? And then we had a surge of buying thereafter, okay? So we don't want to see it break down below the 50-day moving average on a weekly chart here, okay? We still want to see that this trend is going to still go this way, and then we're going to kind of go this way, hopefully, okay? We don't want to see any big breakdowns here on Microsoft. Let's go over to the daily chart, and on the daily chart, we're below the 50-day moving average, which is not good. They're not being supported that well on Microsoft. Now, we had a little bounce, okay, and then boom, it couldn't even get up to the 20-day moving average, which is weak, okay. Now, if it breaks here, we're going to fall 106. Let's hope it holds here. Now, the last time, we came back down. If we could do the volume analysis. When we came back down on, this was on January 30th, okay, we had almost 55 million shares, okay, so we were coming back into that area, okay, with 23 million, okay, so that's right now, it's at a major support area. We're hoping we're to get a bounce here, okay. Remember, we're at these support areas. Now, there are also support areas down at 407, okay, and there's support areas down at 402, and there's a monster support area down at 386. Hopefully not, okay, on Microsoft. So that's what's happening on Microsoft. Let's go over to the 2-hour chart and see the barometer. And when we came down here, we have a sideways move, and then we have a little selling. So now the buyers were not here, okay? Buyers are not here. See, they're not there. Sellers are there. And the selling is not as strong, which is actually good, and then at the end of the day, we have a little bit of a bounce of support, okay? So let's see, and we want it to hold. That's what we're going to be waiting for here on Microsoft. We want it to hold that support, okay? That's what we want it to do. Now, with Apple, let's go over to Apple, and on some of these earnings here, when Apple had earnings on January 30th, we had a surge of buying. We had a big sell-off after that, okay? Because we were all the way up here, and we had a high of 247.19, and now we're at 227.63, okay? So we have a little bit of a breakdown here, okay, on Apple. Let's go over to weekly chart because we want to see at the end of the week. Now we're tightening the zone here, okay? This is what it's called, tightening the zone. Now, what does it mean on the stochastic? When a weekly starts to tighten the zone, okay, we could start getting this, okay, where we start going the other way. See how it tightens the zone here, okay? You'll see it tighten the zone here when they're starting to sell it. See it tighten the zone here, and tighten the zone there. So that's what we're getting here, okay? So this is all behavioral situations here, okay? Let's go to a line chart on Apple, and Apple could be hopefully setting up. Now, this would be a thing of beauty here, okay? This would be a thing of beauty here. Now, watch this on Apple, okay? Apple, we come down, we get the middle of W. Now, right here, if it stops here and we start getting some volume kick in, and we get some volume kicking and we get some buying here. We have a right side higher than the left side with decent volume, okay, and coming in and we start blowing away the middle here, all the shorts that are in this spot, okay. Where is this spot? At that 236 range, and we start busting above, all the shorts are now going to be buyers, okay, and then we'll get that area, hopefully. Let's see what happens, okay. Now, if we break this area down here at this 222, we'll be going down to probably test 220 or 218, okay. But the good thing is that as we look at it on a 2 hour, let's go over to the candlesticks on the 2 hour chart and see where we're at. Now, we do have more selling, okay. We had more selling yesterday on Friday, okay. But we're coming to a major support area, so let's see if we're going to bounce here, okay. Now, what is this? Let's stretch it all the way, okay. What is this? This is called sideways consolidation, okay. This is trading within the box, see it? Right there. There's a consolidation here, okay? So want to see it hold these support areas. That's what we're waiting for. Want to see it hold the support area. Hopefully an exchange of money right here, and then boom, we start heading back up. We don't want to see a breakdown here on Apple, okay? So that's what we're going to be looking for with Apple as we're following Apple, okay? Let's go to Amazon. Now, Amazon had the earnings, okay? They had the earnings, and you always have to be careful and pull it off before the earnings a lot of times if you're trading this, okay? Because what happens? Look at this, okay? Now, we do have these large volume sticks here, okay? Let's see what happens. Now, on the weekly chart, okay, look at this massive volume stick here, okay? Look at this, okay? Now, we're hung above we have an embedded stochastic, okay? That's called an embedded stochastic. This is called an embedded stochastic right here, where you hang above the buy area and just keep going like this. And as that keeps going sideways, weekly, you keep going like this, and then you keep going up. Okay, that's what we're waiting and hoping for on Amazon. Now on Amazon, okay, let's do volume analysis here. Okay, let's go to it. So we had a huge volume stick on December 20th, 2024. That had 88.28 million shares, okay? Let's call it 88 million, okay? Now we come down to this price area right here at the top of this candlestick, and where is it? Okay, it's right here at 224.86. That is where, okay, that is where the 50-day moving average is, where I think it's going to go to, okay? Remember, this is all speculation, okay? Let's go over the 2 hour chart. Now on Amazon, which was pretty solid, is that when it got to the 228.44 on the 2 hour chart, it held it, okay? It held it on the aftermarket after the earnings, okay, because it dropped and then they bought it back. So, and it held it on the pre-market, okay? It came up to the resistance area. Now it came back down yesterday morning, okay? And it held that area. It held it all day, and it held it in the aftermarket, okay? So let's see if they're going to bounce it back up to go back up to the moving average, okay, or they're going to drop it, okay? That's what we want to see. Let's go to a monthly chart, and this is not a surprise on Amazon, because when you're way, way far away from the moving averages, you can get that pullback, okay? You know, so that's another thing you want to look at. How far away are you on these moving averages? And then that's a lot of times, that's why you get these pullbacks and corrections. Okay, because you're way, way far away, and they come back to the magnets. These things are all magnets. Okay, the moving averages are magnets, the support lines are magnets, the resistance lines are magnets. They're all magnets. Now Meta, let's go to a weekly chart. Let's go to a weekly chart on Meta and what we got going on here. Now with Meta, okay, we closed above this week. Okay. We closed above the 702.60, okay, which is very, very solid. Now, remember, you're still way, way far away from the moving averages, okay? So you could get a pullback, okay, that could happen. But look at the increasing volume. And look where you are up in this area. Now, when you go over to Meta on a daily chart, now you have dojis, okay? And then when you have dojis, that means you're running out of steam, okay? Doji, and up here in this doji area. What happened when there'll be a change of direction when you start getting dojis, okay, up here. You'll start getting exhausted. How you will know, okay, is you'll go to 2-hour chart, and then you go to the 2-hour chart, and then what? You're riding the rope, okay, but you're magnetizing right here in this area to the 20-day moving average on the 2-hour chart. So you're getting a little mixed here bag here with the sellers coming and taking the profit. Now you could retest up at that 724.95 again. Okay, you got a wall up there. Okay, and with the last trough right down here, you had 1, 2. Let's say this is the third peak. Okay, so at that fourth peak, you're probably going to get a pullback, and you're going to get a little bit of a profit taking. You're very far away. Look how far up this just kept going. They don't go straight up forever, okay? They will level off and just start pulling back, okay? That's the way it goes. Okay, now Costco, who had a very nice week here, got hung up in the doji area, okay? So what happened with Costco, right here, let's just go over it so we know where we are. We have 1 peak, we have 2 peaks, and this is the third peak, okay? So we're at 1043.81, okay, Friday, okay. So they pulled off some profit off the top. Now you get this doji action up here, you could get a pullback again here, okay. So what are we doing with a weekly chart? We want to know now what the weekly always dictates to the daily with that beautiful support right here at 934. And then, boom, we almost tagged the 1069.51. Now we're close to it, okay? Now, a lot of times, you'll get up to that range, and it's a big profit-taking area, okay? So if you get to that point, you're going to see them back off there, okay? Now, you do have a beautiful stochastic that crossed over beautifully there, okay, on a weekly chart, so you can go higher. You'll know is you'll just keep monitoring on your little chart here with the 2-hour chart. Okay, that's how you'll know how you're going to just keep staying or you're going to pull the profit off. Now, they are pulling some profit off here. You can see the sellers coming in here. Not big or anything like that, but they're coming in. They're coming in to take profit. Let's see if it holds the 20-day and it tags the 1068.68. Let's see if that's what happens or if they're going to break it down a little bit. Okay, so that's on Costco. Let's go over to, what do we got going on here? We got GE Aerospace. And GE Aerospace, now, okay, we were at 205.28, and we thought they were going to pull this back all the way, but they didn't. It held strong. Now, on GE, let's go over to GE. Okay, so GE on a weekly chart, you got to know where you are, okay? There was a great wrestling coach years ago that used to say, know where you are. Because if you're winning and you want to step out of bounds to reset yourself, that's what you could do. Same type of thing. You're up here, and you know you're very far away from the moving averages, okay? And you know you're going to get a pullback coming here. You're way stretched out. Remember, you came all the way down from here, and where were you? Okay, the low on December 16th was 159.60. You're at 205.28. Okay, so you did wonderful here. Okay, whoever you are. Okay, so that's what we're watching on GE Aerospace. With the 2-hour chart, let's just see where the pulse is, as we call it. We're at the support level here on the 2-hour chart. So I want to see if we're going to make another run up to 209. Okay, we had some good buying come in here at the end of the day here. So let's see what they're going to do. GEV had earnings. Let's go over to the daily chart. Okay, so I'm sorry, they didn't have earnings yet. I'm sorry about that. I made a mistake. One of them had earnings this week on. So GEV Vernova. It's not a surprise here. Like, there's no surprises here, okay? 377.97. Now let's go over to, that's a resistance line. Now the middle of the W, see it right here, coming up here, they took the profit at that point, okay? Now why? Because look at the void in this area right here. You have a lot of light volume going up into that spot, okay? So that's not a surprise. You're going to pull back, okay? That's definitely, let's go over to a weekly chart. Now, with the weekly chart on GE Vernova, you have a downward push here, okay? You have a downward push, okay? So the sentiment here wants to go a little bit lower, okay? So that's what we're looking at here, okay? Now, this thing went up massively. Now, let's go to a line chart, and we're just leveling off here, okay? We're leveling off, okay? So let's see if we form another W here on the weekly. That's going to take weeks. Let's go over back to the daily chart, and then always know where you are, okay? Let's go over to the 2-hour chart and actually see what they're looking to do. Now, you have light volume, okay? You have light volume here, and you're still riding the rope, okay, which is a good sign, okay, because what happens right in this spot, okay, you're back to the moving average, and then buying, back to the moving average, and right now, the volume, yeah, there was some profit taking here, but let's see if they're going to start running back up again and test that area again, okay, and where is that area? It would be at 394.56. Okay, right now 377.97. Okay, so let's go over to the TMO, which the Thermo Fisher, and Thermo Fisher with the correction here. There's no question about it. Okay, I had the correction. So let's look at the correction on Thermo Fisher. We had 1, 2, 3. Now we're getting. Now look at the volume coming in. Okay, we're at almost at the fourth peak here. Okay, and we're at support. And now watch when you have the two needles here. Well, I call them right here at that area. That was a huge buying area. When you have two, see these capitulation candlesticks right here, and capitulation, you have two of them in a row. You know, going up. Okay, so you got that. When you get that in a reverse situation, you know you're going down. Okay, let's go over to a daily chart, and this one took a nice shot on January 30th. The high was 610.97. We're at 571.47. Okay, so this took a nice shot, but the good news is that when you filled the gap. Okay, you filled the gap right here. You filled it right here. You're at support. Okay, you're at support level here. Now the good thing is that when you go to that support area, they're buying off it. Okay, hopefully. Okay. When you want to test that volume stick. See right there. Where's the volume stick? Right there. So when they come up into those high volume, it's usually a magnet. They usually will go back to it at one point. Okay, let's see though, as we keep watching this, a lot of sellers in here on TMO. Let's go over the 2-hour chart. Now, this is nice though, because this makes you feel a little bit better, okay, if you're in this, okay. So now you had the correction, okay. You're back at support where the capitulation area was, okay? The selling was starting to dry up here over the last few days. It dried up, and it dried up. Now, we had some covering. Look at the green sticks. Look at the covering at support. Boom, right there. Let's see if we can twist and start to get it to turn, okay? Now, that's going to be something that we're going to be watching, okay? We're going to watch this area here, and we're going to watch to see if we're going to get a turning point here. Okay, at TMO, as the daily stochastic starts coming all the way to the bottom here, okay, right here. Now, we could drop to the 50-day moving average. We don't want to because that'll break the support area, okay? But it could because there's another support area at 557.38, okay? So let's see. We're going to watch the 2-hour chart, and we're going to see if we're going to get a turning point here. Okay, now, we got Train Technologies, which is TT, okay? This took a beating, okay? Now, it broke the last support area. Now, as we're looking at the weekly chart, okay, last week we got an exchange of money. Now, we have a major support area, buy area at 355.33. We're at 356.14. Okay, right there. Boom. Okay, we're hoping that we're going to bounce off that spot. Okay, now that's where the covering is going to come in. Okay, you have you want to get, now they're far away from the moving average, so just like they go the other way, they will go the other way too. See, boom, comes up, sells off, Want to get it back up again. Okay, want to see what they're going to do. Okay, on TT, on Trade Technologies, let's see here what's going on the 2-hour chart. Okay, now on the 2-hour chart, where are we at? Okay, we're almost done with this video here. We're basing. Okay, we're basing. Okay, so right here we're basing, and we have a dry up of selling here. We have a dry up of selling, which is a good sign. Okay, see the selling in this area, selling in this area, that's accumulation of selling. But the only bad thing is here you do have a step down pattern, okay, and you have a step pattern down. The only good thing is that we're drying up with the volume. Let's see what happens. We're at a turn. We could be at a little bit of a turning point there, okay, for a pop. Now this is only for a pop because let's see. Now let's do it. Went on the daily chart. Let's do the analysis. We have one peak, okay. This is a small one, but let's say 2. Okay, 2 here. Now this is 3 peaks. So we could get this, come back up, and then come back down again. Okay, so that, or if it holds and then starts going up, then that's a different story. Okay, then we'll have to get some energy and volume. Right now the volume's falling off a little bit. Okay, but we did have a lot of selling in there. Let's go over to Google. Now Google had the earnings. Right, and now with Google here, we don't want to break trend here, okay? But we did break it one time before, back in November, the end of November, okay? Let's go to weekly chart because weekly always dictates to daily. Now the beauty of this is we do have a monster volume stick, which is good because you always get, sometimes you get a little bit of a change there. Okay, now with the peaks on the weekly chart, 1, 2, 3, we're hoping we're going to get this again. Hopefully, let's see. We want to see if this is going to be a correction or what they're going to do here. Okay, or is this just going to be a little bit of a pullback and then we start getting the other way? Let's go over the 2-hour chart, and what do we see now on the 2-hour chart? On Google, okay, we're holding the support area, but we have a step down pattern, okay? Now, the thing is, they did come in here and support this a little bit. So that's something. Google's is something we're going to have to watch, okay? It's something we're going to have to watch, okay? We peaked out at that 208.70. Right now, it's 187.14, okay? So let's see if we're going to get a correction here. Well, let's say we're going to get a little bit of a pop, okay, on Google. Okay, now on Uber, let's go over to Uber. On Uber, now this is not a surprise. This is what we said was going to happen here. We had the sideways, and now we had the bust out, which is a good sign, okay, on Uber. Now let's go over the weekly chart, okay, because the weekly was heading up, and the earnings came in, and that's a beautiful sign, because why? Look at the line chart. Look at the W. Look at the right side of the W. Boom. Bam. You see it? Right there, okay? So that's a good sign for us with Uber. Okay, let's go over to back to the daily chart, and there's a beautiful thing: sideways consolidation right there, and then boom, the bust out. Okay, with massive volume coming in. Okay, so that's a good sign right there. Want to keep managing that, and then you'll go to your heartbeat right here, and what do you got? Okay, right here, take your pulse. You got the sideways with the bust out. And then obviously they're going to pull back some. They're going to pull back some profits here as you get to resistance. But you go sideways and then boom. Let's hopefully we got another buy there, right? Okay. The last one we're going to do today is Shake Shack, and Shake Shack we got. Here we go. Shake Shack. We have the correction still. We're still in the correction on Shake Shack. So with one peak, we have 2 peaks. And we're at the 3rd peak here, okay. So on Shake Shack, let's go over to weekly. Weekly always dictates. We want to see if now. This is not a good sign because we could continue to keep going down here to the 50-day moving average, okay. On Shake Shack, sometimes it's got to get it out of its system for the correction. Okay. The good news is that we have the weekly all the way on the bottom, okay, which is nice, okay. So let's see if we're going to get that weekly, and then at one point, maybe weeks ahead, we'll get the turning point, okay. On daily chart, we're still trending down. Okay, and the only bad thing is here, we got one peak, we got two peaks with the third peak, and we broke the last major support. Now we do have a major support area at 108.47, so that's something that we're going to have to continue to watch. Okay, the selling is still in there, as you can see, but you're at support on the 2-hour chart. Okay, so you're at a major support level right now. If it breaks this area, we start getting more selling in, we'll go to 108.47. Okay, that's just what's going to happen. Okay, with that said, I want to thank everybody for coming, watching, and have a great day.